Hey gamers! We are having a very special video for you today or tonight, whatever time you are watching this at. And yes, we have it. We actually have it. We have the PlayStation 5 is here in the VA and on the VA channel. And we thought, me and Callum, we thought about doing this very first video about the PlayStation 5 just for you guys. Just answering the questions that we got on the VA channel social media, on our Discord server. So I gathered like basically all the questions that we got about the system, and we will answer all of them for this video. And we will also talk about like our own thoughts about the system, what Callum has been experiencing with the PlayStation 5. He only got it yesterday, so it's like this will be more of impressions video, thoughts video, not like an actual full review or something. So yeah, let's dive in, Callum. First thing is actually a question that I have for you. Which is something that I honestly experience with every console that I buy, which is, did you have that special new console feeling? Like for this feeling that I am talking about, like I got this feeling very strongly with the PlayStation 2 when I first like opened the box and saw the console for the very first time. And then it got like magnified by maybe 1,000 when I first opened it, launched it or opened it for the very first time, when the startup screen went up. So did you have this very special feeling as well?
Do you know what? I didn't have that initially because a lot of the setup is very tedious and you have to go through all the admin. But then as soon as I, because it was downloading Astro's Playroom in the background, and by the time I finished all the admin, setting up the Wi-Fi and doing all the settings and everything, it had already downloaded. So I just jumped straight into it, and that's when it started to feel real.
So it was like a bit delayed.
Yeah,
but it was special.
It was just getting through all the tedious stuff, but as soon as I got through that, it felt exactly. It was like a kid on Christmas Day. Just
yeah,
sure.
That's what I meant. So does it have that next gen feeling, or is it something more like the PlayStation 4 Pro or something?
No, it's 100% a next gen feel. I think the one thing, and I believe everyone's been saying it, but I understand it firsthand now, the thing that really makes it feel like it's moved on, barring the visual aspects, the ray tracing, stuff like that, the thing that is so tangible and like you can tell how much it's moved on through this one particular thing is the controller. The controller is something else. It's something that you don't really put much thought into, but this time they've really went out of their way to make that their focus, and it really shows.
And like this is my very first time seeing them, both controllers like really like this side by side, and I can like now really see the difference, like visually. I can really see the difference when you have like put them side by side. I can really see the difference visually. Visually, it looks like starkly different, distinctly different. So
even in terms of shape, there's different. I think that the newest one is moving closer to, but not completely towards an Xbox controller, which I like because I don't like Xbox controllers. I think they're too bulky, but I also think PlayStation controllers can be too flimsy, so it's a nice middle ground.
Yeah, so like I have a different opinion here. Like the Xbox One controller for me is the best controller ever, but I still haven't got my hands on the PlayStation 5 controllers in order to compare them. So yeah, that will be interesting. I can also see like the huge size difference between the consoles.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
It's madness. Whenever you take it out, you think it's some sort of air purifier or something. It's huge.
Yeah.
I think in terms of shape and size, it's a lot closer to. Do you remember the initial PlayStation 3, the like bulky one?
Yeah,
it's very close to that. It's yeah, me as well. It's much taller, but it's the same kind of width and kind of it's bulky in the same way. Whereas PlayStation Pro or even the normal PlayStation 4 when it came out, pretty slimline and sleek.
So yeah, size difference we can all see here. Does it feel heftier? What's the weight like?
Yeah,
when you carry it or something? Yeah.
Yeah, it feels almost awkward to move about. Whenever you take it out of the box, you almost you're trying to be very, very careful simply because first of all you don't want to break it first time out of the box.
Precious, yeah.
But then as well as that, you feel like if you pick it up, if you drop it, it's going to hit the floor hard because it is pretty heavy. But you do feel the difference between the two of them certainly.
So like the last question, baby, about the actual console design. How does it feel like compared to the PlayStation 4? The feel of it, like is it more plasticky? Is it more metal-y?
It's still got that plastic casing. But you do notice the little details in it. Like if you've seen I don't know if you've seen any images online in regards to it, but if you see on the inner casing, there's like texture to it. But the texture, if you really, really closely, it's X's and circles and squares and triangles.
I actually watched that. This little detail about the X's there and the buttons, the PlayStation buttons.
Yeah, but in terms of the feel, it's not very metallic. It still feels quite plasticky, but it's sturdy. It's not going to fall apart, you know.
Does it look premium?
I think
in person, does it look premium?
I think the reason they've went for that is because I know there was controversy around the guys that were going to make their own custom ones, but Sony clearly had the idea because they patented it to have custom plates that they could put inside. And I think that's why they've made them less metallic because it's easier to work with. I
think, like they are coming soon. We will soon have like official plates. I actually got a part of the PlayStation 5 at the same time as you, like also yesterday, but it's a bit different than what you actually got. I got this, which is actually an official PlayStation 5 thing. This is the adapter that you get for your PlayStation VR in order to hook it up to the PlayStation 5. And you can't actually use the PlayStation VR without this.
Oh.
So I've got something PlayStation 5 as well already. Yeah.
It's a start.
It's a start. A very small start and maybe insignificant, but yeah, it helps.
Awesome.
So yeah, moving on with the questions. So yeah, we talked about the size, the weight, the design. The question that that was really asked several times by our subscribers was the fan noise. Did you notice any loud fan noise from yesterday until today, playing various games?
No, whenever I've been playing it, I've tried it with a couple, and like as you know, they're next gen games. They're going to be testing on the system, but I haven't heard a peep out of it really. There's small instances where it picks up a little tiny bit, but again, it's minuscule. You don't really notice it. Even my PS4 Pro, it's kind of in the same boat where it will be pretty quiet as well. But then I also have another PlayStation, and it runs like an absolute engine, like a jet engine. So I know exactly. Mine
is an absolute jet engine. It's like a Boeing and Airbus in the same device at the same time.
You know yourself. I had to try and fix that one because I couldn't stick the other one, so I took that one apart and fixed it. But And the one before that, it was actually getting to me how loud it was. I couldn't actually enjoy games, and because I review them for the channel and whatnot, I didn't want that to kind of mar the score, so to speak, and give it a lesser score just because I can't stick the sound on PlayStation, you know. But yeah, like, in terms of answering the question, like the PlayStation 5 hasn't really made a peep at all, and it's doing some big things. So
we can't like say it's dead silent, but it's very, very quiet.
Yeah, 100%.
Much quieter than the Pro, let's say.
Yeah, well, I know that the Pro can get much louder than mine is, but in terms of the PlayStation 4 and its problems with the fan, it's something that I haven't noticed yet anyway.
Like I noticed the jet engine thing with the PlayStation 4, with mine PlayStation 4, was very noticeable with two games. It was with AC Valhalla, actually. It was like incredibly loud, unbelievably loud. Like I had to use headphones, not just because I like to use headphones, it's because I can't hear the game properly. And the other one, which was even like maybe even higher and louder than that, was Marvel's Avengers. That takes the that was.
Well, if I could wager one, myself, The Last of Us 2 broke that PlayStation.
It broke that. It was like the breakdown that you had with the PlayStation 4 Pro was while playing The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, that's basically, it was its last swan song before it calved and just completely gave up on me. I think I still have some footage that I managed to record of it where like Ellie and the other girl that I've completely forgotten the name of, but the two of them are sitting having a conversation, and the game couldn't handle what was happening, and the eyes moved out of the socket and were over here, and the face was over here. It was so weird.
So you actually experienced it not only hardware wise, you experienced it on the screen as well.
Yeah, I completely messed with everything, and then the day later I just decided not to turn it on again. So
we will need that clip if you can provide that. We will like show it to you. I don't know, maybe on a video or on our social media, because that's like a must see. The other thing, and maybe it's too early to call, is the thermals, the thermal performance. So did it get very hot to touch or something, or was it cool all the time?
I mean, I've only had a very short time with it, so it's hard to tell, but I was running it all last night, basically with no break at all for a good 5 to 6 hours. It was running perfectly fine. It didn't heat up, never had any issues.
Did you put it in an open space, or it was more like a closed one?
I just had it out in front of the TV unit, just because I just set it up straight out of the box, so I didn't have time to make it all neat. But yeah, it was just out in the space.
So let's say like the first impressions with the thermals are actually positive. Now.
I've got nothing negative to say about them at the moment. This could change, but I would say that they're probably going to be okay.
Okay, so the other thing is the DualSense, and particularly the new stuff about the DualSense, particularly also the triggers. If you can describe the triggers for us,
I think I'll kind of double this one up with Astra's Playroom, because it is essentially the tech demo for the PS5. So it's basically showing off everything that the controller can do. It's not really showing off anything other than that, but there's so much going on with the controller that it warrants a whole 12 to 16 hour platform game. So with the triggers, you really do, it's actually mind-blowing how much it makes a difference. You really feel the resistance of the triggers whenever you're like doing the bow, as you see in the clips, or if you're there's a section where you are whenever you're like it's hard to explain what it is. It's like a little robot with a spring on the bottom, and you have to kind of charge up his jump and throw him side to side along with motion controls. And you feel it gradually, you feel yourself gradually working through the resistance and then breaking it, and then it does the action. The best example I can probably give, there's a thing that you use your coins on for in the game is like a claw machine. You reach in and you can get puzzle pieces or references or ornaments or whatever you get from it. And the claw reaches in, and then you get it in the hand, and you can crush the orb to get what you're trying to get. And you really feel that you're crushing it. You feel like you're doing it yourself. It's really interesting. As for the other aspects, there's the microphone that you can now use as how they showcase it is through like a windmill, and you can blow into the microphone, and that does actions on the screen. So it's not mind blowing, but it's another thing that the system can do. And then the motion controls are another big aspect. So whereas you've had the Syaxis and stuff from the PlayStation 3 era, like motion controls aren't new. These are much more refined. Like you really feel the difference whenever you're actually using them, because if you ever use the Syaxis on the PlayStation 3, it's basically unusable. Like,
not that precise. It was like all over the place.
Developers soon found that it was not worth using, basically from the first half a year with the PlayStation 3. But I think you'll see more use out of that in this generation, certainly because there's just so much that they can use. And that brings me on to the touchscreen is also still there, but that was from PlayStation 4. Not a lot has changed with that. So it is there, but it's not really all that.
Oh, you mean the touchpad? Yeah.
Yes, you can still draw with that. You can still do the normal stuff with it, but that's not really much of a change. The last thing, and it is a really substantial thing because they can do such minute things with it. The vibration and
the haptic feedback. The haptic feedback.
Yes, the vibrations, haptic feedback, and sound quality that you get from the controller is sublime. Like you can feel the pitter patter of rain. You can feel wind blowing you in different directions, and this with the sound quality, which it registers what side of the controller it comes out of, so you actually feel like it's coming from a direction, left or right or in front, or maybe not behind, but you know what I mean.
Much more.
And this is all just with a controller, so it's really amazing that they can do that with just one piece of kit. And then that's not even considering what the hardware can do for the game.
Yeah, we will see much more of that in the coming months and years. So do you think like any of these features of the DualSense features, like you consider any of these features as a gimmick, or are all of them innovative, great things to have?
I think with the triggers, I think you'll see a lot of use of them even from the AAA developers. There's some games coming out now like the Pathless and the Annapurna brought out, or published rather, and there's other ones that are sort of making use of them, but they sort of feel like gimmicks right now because there's developers that have been told, can you highlight this and use this because you're a launch title, you know what I mean? But for the long haul, I still think you'll see the triggers playing a part, and I think the haptic feedback is like it's going to change the way that we receive information in terms of the game. You're going to feel sound, and you're going to feel the things that are happening on the screen in a different way. You're going to have more of a connection to it because it's right there in your hands, it's right in front of you, rather than relying on the volume, or if you have a surround sound system, you'll definitely get it, whereas if you're relying on your TV you won't. But with this you kind of have it right in front of you, there's no excuse. So
it's much more direct. Exactly. And did you get to test the speaker, the built-in speaker in the controller?
Do you mean for like the microphone to speak in?
This is like you can see it. It looks actually very similar to the PlayStation, the DualShock 4 controller, but maybe like the grill design is a bit different, but it's placed the same on the same place, placed above the PlayStation logo. And they talked about like this actually being useful for use in like as a speaker for multiplayer chat and like you won't even need headphones or always need headphones. It can be used as a solution instead of headphones if yours is not there or is charging or whatever. Yeah, that's like I think also that I have in mind about how does it actually perform. Is it still a teeny sound that you won't even be able to hear properly, and that gets drowned with the actual game sound, like the PlayStation 4, like with the DualShock 4? It wasn't that great. The speaker was very tinny and unusable, almost unusable.
Well, it's not something I've had a chance to try, mostly because the games that I've been playing at the moment aren't multiplayer, so there's no real need for it. And to be honest with you, there's no one that I know in my party that has a PS5 that I could even test it out with. So it's limiting me in that respect. But I think it's something that they've definitely worked on, and they're going to have made it functional. Whether it's high quality or not is still yet to be seen. It's not something that I can speak to right now. But the fact that they've brought out a dedicated headset along with the PS5 would indicate that maybe it's not going to stand alone as this high definition sound, and you might need to invest in the headset if you want that. But it gives someone that doesn't want to buy a headset that option just on the fly. So it's a nice thing to have, but I couldn't tell you how good it is right now.
Yeah, I think like this, it will be like only an emergency situation or something. Only in emergencies, absolute emergencies. Yeah. So moving on to the software side of things, how does the new OS menu feel?
I'm still trying to work it out. It's one of those things where you change from one thing to another, and it's kind of you're slow on the uptake. But there's some things about it that I quite enjoy. So there's a switch between games and media, so you don't have to go into your TV and media guide and then bring that up, and then you're into it. There's a little tab on the top, and you've got games and media, and it completely separates the two. So that's handy. Whenever you were logging into it and setting up all your admin, it actually gave you the option to download all the media ahead of time instead of having to do
what
that.
What do you mean by the media tab? What does it contain?
So you'd have your Netflix, your Amazon Primes, Now TV, all that stuff. So it gives you the option to download all that ahead of time instead of going into the PlayStation Store and going through that clunky process of downloading them all whenever you need them. So that's handy. In terms of the other UI aspects, there is a problem that I've kind of noticed with, and I think a lot of people have noticed, but it's something that's very easy to miss. Whenever you're downloading a game that has a PS4 and PS5 version, you could very, very easily slip into the trap of downloading the PS4 version.
Yeah, I heard about that, yeah.
I can see that firsthand. Like, it's very easy to do.
What's the problem with that? Like, you can't actually see the console or the version easily? What's the problem with that?
So the way it works is, and this is what I think it is, because I haven't had a lot of time to figure out it, but as far as I'm aware, the problem a lot of people were having was that they're transferring their data from the PS4 to the PS5 to make their life a little bit easier. But whenever they do that, the stuff that they transfer across is going to be the PS4 versions. It's not going to download the PS5 by default. So whenever they get the PS4 version, and then if they don't delete that, reinstall the PS5, and then tell the PS5 to download the PS5 version, it won't do that. So you have to basically
have an automatic thing. Yeah, like Sony maybe have to implement something automatic, especially with the games that will have a PS5 enhanced version, like FIFA 21 that's coming up in a few days or so, and many others like AC Valhalla as well, several other games. And how was the migration process from the PlayStation 4 to the 5? Did you do it over Wi-Fi? Did you do it with a physical cable over USB?
So it was just over Wi-Fi. You just have to have both PlayStations on. Put that one on. That one senses where it is, and then you turn this one back off, and it just takes all the information, puts it on, and it's as easy as that. There's not really a lot of hassle about it.
Great. So the recognition between the systems like was seamless, didn't like trouble you. Yeah.
Apart from having to run up and down the stairs, that was a bit of
Yeah, and I guess it should be also Wi-Fi speed dependent thing, even if it's internally, right? Like transferring all the settings and how long did it take for you to transfer the settings and like the basic things, the essential things, not the actual game downloads?
I'm not sure if there was a split like you see when you download a game and it downloads the minimum and then you start, but there's more to do. I don't know if there was a split between the data in that respect, but certainly the majority of the stuff that I needed was done in about half an hour.
Great.
Even then, you could still do stuff, and whilst that went on in the background, you weren't limited to waiting for it until it was ready to go. So
that's also great.
That like an issue.
And that's like on 50 megabits connection.
As far as I'm aware, yeah.
Yeah. I think you told me one time it was 50 megabit. That's actually remarkable. Like half an hour, and you can actually do other stuff at the same time with the UI. Yeah. It's actually great. So yeah, the big things, the graphics. Did you notice a leap in the graphics?
Oh yeah, 100%. In terms of, I've only seen a couple of games. We went through Overcooked, we went through AC Valhalla, and we went through Astro's Playroom and Bugsnax. That's the 4 that we've went through so far. There definitely is a leap forward. In terms of Astro's Playroom, which I was touching on again, the ray tracing, you can really see how much of a difference that actually makes when it's done well. We've seen it through, we saw ray tracing in Crisis when we reviewed that, and that didn't go too well. We saw that in, I think Watch Dogs Legion also had ray tracing, but again, it wasn't all that noticeable because the hardware didn't support it as well as it could do. This one has got it on lockdown, and you can really see the difference. The lighting is fantastic. It just makes everything feel much more lifelike and realistic.
Cool. And like the other thing that we got the PlayStation 4 version of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and we reviewed that on the PlayStation 4 Pro together. Yeah. And now you got the AC Valhalla running on a PlayStation 5. How does it compare between the two?
So in terms of visuals, it's a step up. You can clearly see that. Again, ray tracing plays a big part in that because the lighting is so crucial to an open world game. That's going to take it on leaps and bounds. And there's still the kind of issues that they had before because it is such a big sandbox. They do still have bugs, they do still have issues. But in terms of the visuals, whenever you aren't testing them, and whenever you're not doing something that the game doesn't like, so to speak, it looks really well. Even whenever you're doing some high intensity stuff and you're moving at fast speeds, there isn't a lot of blur, there isn't a lot of loss of definition, where you would have seen that on the 4. You won't get that as much on the 5. It's not perfect, but it's certainly
better with the frame rates.
The frame rate, it was pretty consistent. It was a smooth 60 as far as I see.
Great. So you actually got 60 FPS on the PlayStation 5 with AC Valhalla. That's major.
Yeah, it seemed like it ran perfectly smooth. There was no real issues, and can't say as much for the 4, but the 5 seems to have locked it down.
Yeah. And does it like actually have ray tracing on AC Valhalla? I wasn't too sure about that. About it having ray tracing for the PlayStation 5.
I'm only going with the default settings, so I could be wrong. But,
is it a setting that you can adjust on the PlayStation 5, like the ray tracing? Is it something that you can like turn it off or on in the settings?
I think it's game dependent as far as I'm aware. Again, I could be wrong, but I think that just judging by the way it looks, I think it has that in effect. But as I say, it could just be a step up in graphics, but without ray tracing. I've only went with the default settings. I've jumped straight into the game. I haven't looked at the internals. It could easily be not there, but it's definitely a step up in visuals.
Graphically, like as we have told you guys, this is impressions video because we only got the console literally yesterday. yesterday night as well. So yeah, that was about it, because we talked about the ports from PlayStation 4 and how they compare on the PlayStation 5. So any final thoughts about the PlayStation 5 experience? Any things you want to add as well?
Yeah, I just want to talk about one more thing. The thing that speaks to me personally, because even though I'm not a massive part of the trophy hunting community within the PlayStation community, it's something that I enjoy. But I'm not a diehard in any respects, and I know a lot of people that are. And I've been on podcasts.
It's a nice feeling when you have that trophy icon popping up, especially on the platinum. The platinum is something, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. No, I've been on podcasts dedicated to the idea. I ran podcasts dedicated to the idea. So it's something I'm interested in, just maybe not as good at as a lot of people. But
there's time as well. We don't have much of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is very time consuming. 100% it is. But in terms of the PlayStation 5 and the way that you're able to go about achievements now, there's a system within it where you can jump into activities, and this is only going to be for PS5 games, and it won't work backwards unless they get an updated version. As far as I'm aware, PS5 games are now being made with trophies in mind, so that you can jump to a specific point in the game where you're set to get that trophy if you do the actions that it requires. So for example, in Astro's Playroom, if you are missing a certain percentage of an area where you have to collect all the artifacts or something to that effect, you just need to go, you press the home button or the PlayStation button, or the middle one.
yeah.
And it brings up a screen, or it brings up a bar on the bottom.
Okay.
And you have all the different things that you still have to do, and you just click on one, and with very little time between waiting for it to happen, it loads up and you're ready to go, and you just go from that point. It's something that really streamlines it for you, and for that.
So does it actually, like Callum, does it actually take you to that place where you need to play, or to that part, or of the map, or of the level?
Yeah, so it takes you to the rough area. It's not obviously going to take you to if there's a particular thing you have to collect for a trophy, it's not going to put you right in front of it, but it's going to put you in the particular area where you have to do something, or there's something that you need to do in that area, and it'll place you just kind of in the vicinity, and it just streamlines things, and it means that you don't have to run all the way through an open world, or
just get straight to it. Yeah,
exactly.
I don't think they will implement it in all games. Maybe it won't be there for the story-driven games where you see all of these hidden trophies that you shouldn't know because of spoilers. But maybe for something like Astros, it's actually something that's very helpful and makes sense to implement and to do.
Where it can be implemented, it certainly will be. Even with those story-like trophies, you do get the odd one that is just kind of like a playful trophy. And amongst them, it will show you how to do that. And I think they'll implement it maybe not for the entire trophy list, but just for personal ones.
Yeah, for the public ones that can be public and not spoil the game or the story of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I noticed another thing with the new UI and the trophy system, there were also these. It was special noticeable with the Demon's Souls. Demon's Souls had these. I think you noticed that as well in the videos that we have seen. The guide thing. So you get a guide that you can access about each level or something, about how to beat that boss, or how to get through that difficult part of a level, or the whole level, or something. It's much more accessible to those that maybe are coming into gaming for the first time, like the younger generation of gamer, or those that up until now felt alienated by the idea of it because you need to have so much knowledge. It's basically bridging that gap as best it can. Yeah, I think it's a great idea, like having it built in the console itself without you having to check your phone or go to your nearest laptop in order to see how can you beat this freaking boss that has been killing you for the 100th time for 3 hours now.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all the more poignant in Demon Souls, I'm sure.
And yeah, it will save many TVs as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it will be very kind to your local TV. So yeah, so guys, that has been it. We have talked about the first impressions that Callum had with the PlayStation 5 since getting it yesterday. This is the channel's PlayStation 5. Finally, we have it here, and I couldn't get one personally, not as a pre-order and not on launch day, despite me trying. And Callum actually had a pretty stressful ordering process on launch day, and that went for hours until he got this only console. It was hectic, it was stressful. I was there refreshing the page on multiple online retailers, trying to just get to the checkout, and it literally went out in seconds on where when like in the region that I live in, or in the country that I live in. And Callum got it also from as a bundle with an additional controller and a charger. He couldn't also get the console and the controller only. He got it only as a bundle, and that's maybe the only way that you could get a PlayStation 5 on launch day. It's crazy, really. And we are actually hearing news about a fourth wave, as they are calling it, of PlayStation 5s coming right around the Christmas time. So it should be between Christmas time and definitely before the New Year. So there will be actually some new PlayStation 5s, new batches and new consoles coming and being available to buy and for sale before the end of this year. So not as we have previously imagined and thought that there won't be any for 2020, for the crazy year of 2020. We will have maybe a chance to refresh the page again for the 100th time, hopefully, to get a console for this year as well. So we'll see. Yeah.
Other than that, that's everything we have to say for today. So thanks for tuning in. And if you want to have a look at any more of our content, there is the website, veryearlygaming.com. Be sure to go over there if you want your daily content, such as news, reviews, and all other things gaming. And as well as that, if you want to subscribe and leave a like on this video, that would be excellent.
Yeah, guys, if you like the content, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you can get the latest videos and the newest videos whenever they come out. And we'll get to you in the next video. We'll catch up with you with that video, and see you later, guys. Bye bye.